are you doing today?
I'm good. Thanks for having me.
Well, let's jump right in and talk about your books.
Sure.
So give us a rundown. What are they about?
Yeah, well, Green to Gold came out about 5 years ago, and it's really become, I think, a template for a lot of companies. It's the why are companies going green? What are the pressures they under? And then how do you build a strategy to deal with all those pressures? What are the tools you need to have in place? And it's a top line kind of strategy book, and it's become, I think, the game plan for a lot of big companies on how they think about this. And what happened a couple years after it came out was we updated it for the paperback, but then the recession hit, and obviously the banks started going under, and I was doing a lot of writing for Harvard Business Review online and other places, and was starting to write about the recession and what it meant to Green to Gold and to green in general. And Harvard Press suggested I write a book on going green in the recession, or why it still mattered, and that's what Green Recovery was. It was sort of a shorter, quicker little manifesto to say, hey, it's still important to go green as a company, and not only is it still important, it's a core way out of this. It's a way to save money. It's a way to innovate. The core of green is about doing more with less, and in a recession, you obviously have less, and so we need to figure out how we keep growing and keep creating value in a company. So those two books, I think, are my calling cards right now, and are really the stories that I'm out telling to companies about why this should matter.
And if people want to get these books, where can they get them?
They're in Amazon, and I think
the
they're
usual.
in this bookstores, although the bookstores are disappearing. You have to do it online now, I think.
Okay.
They're on your Kindle, they're everywhere.
And a big focus right now is jobs. And
Yeah.
do you see green jobs as playing a role in helping the economy?
Yeah, one of the things I say in Green Recovery is that I think companies have gotten too beholden to layoffs as a way to save money. And this started, I think, 10, 20 years ago, and companies and CEOs got rewarded for being, basically firing machines, ways to, and I saw that in late 2008, right when the economy started to turn down, companies laid off way ahead of their profits or anything turning down, and it sort of almost forced the recession. I mean, they got rid of so many people that, of course, those people could not be out buying things. So, there's sort of this vicious circle, and I think we should, think about getting lean on stuff, not on people. What we're short on is resources, not on, people. And so it doesn't mean that some businesses won't shrink, and at times they will need fewer people. I'm not saying you hold on to everyone, forever, but the opportunity for growth in jobs is in the clean tech sector. I mean, we've had these growth periods over the last few decades. In the internet, that created a ton of jobs, the mobile revolution. And we're missing something over the last 5 years. What's the next wave to create jobs? And it is the clean economy. It is what's going to be a multi-trillion-dollar business. It's an enormous wealth creation opportunity. And we are having debates about which green jobs matter, or will there be solar or wind? And it really doesn't matter. I mean, the old technologies are going to shrink, or they're going to use fewer and fewer people to do the same thing. And the new technologies are going to need more people. And it's everything from insulating a house, to designing new solar panels, and the very high end of technology and academia and sort of big picture thinking. So it's everything along the economy. We need people doing tons of different things to clean up the economy. That's going to be millions of jobs, millions.
Well, that's good news. I think President Obama needs you on his team to...
Yeah, sometimes. I don't think they make the argument that well too often. They don't often see that it is the growth path. We taught, I think the green agenda should have been way up front in the political agenda in this administration, because we were fighting with job shrinking, and we had this climate bill that they wanted to pass, and they didn't sort of put the two together and say, well, this is the same discussion. We're going to create a cleaner economy, and we're competing globally. And countries like China and Germany and Spain and others are investing a lot more than we are and converting their economies, and they're going after this multi-trillion-dollar business, and we're dancing around it and sort of protecting older industries that are really not going to be growth engines. It doesn't matter how much we continue to use fossil fuels. They're not going to grow. We're not going to need more people to go dig up oil. And so the growth is elsewhere, and we have to go for that.
Very true. And let's talk about business climate, because today you're speaking on a panel, true?
That's right. That's right. There's a panel at the end of the day about sort of new economics and the new way we need to think about the economy. And it's going to be an interesting discussion, I think, about the kinds of questions we need to ask in companies and in the economy, and how we value things. How do we value the things that are traditionally hard to measure, that we don't get into our system very well, that we don't get into the economics and into our decision making, into our investment decisions. We need to get those internalized so that we can make the right decisions over the long run.